what Peter Fonagy calls mentalizing. Mentalizing is, I have states of consciousness that are affecting my relationship with you that might be more or less accurate, according to reality. And you have states of consciousness that are affecting your relationship with me that might be more or less accurate, and we can work with those. That capacity is called mentalization. And that's what leads to integration. If we dissociate from anything, and we don't bring it into that process, we don't develop there. And under stress, what happens? Our nervous system goes back to the implicit memories that it encoded when we were small, under stress, of dealing with that particular kind of stress. Those implicit memories constellate as defensive states. And we have about the empathetic capacity of a 2-year-old, which is very little. And we have the destructive impulses of a 2-year-old, or a 1-year-old, or an 18-month-year-old, which are enormous. And we have the self-reflective capacities of a 2-year-old. Great. Now, if I'm aware of that, I go, oh, he's being a big baby now. You know, I can auto-regulate. I can self-regulate back to being a grown-up. If I'm aware of it. If I'm not aware of it, you all have to support me being a baby. And I'm not being a baby. You're not supporting me. Support me. And so, how many times in therapy has somebody come in and they go, you know, the problem is that the world is not adjusting to me. I go, wow, that's quite a problem. You know, it's a lot of work to get the whole universe to adjust and then, people look at me and go, yeah, it's a lot of work. I mean, you know, yeah, you know, you can't, another thing, when you're working with borderline personality disorder, you can't use metaphor. It doesn't work. It just confuses them and pisses them off. You can't use metaphors, complex interpretations, and you can't focus on conflict or content too much. You need to focus on states of consciousness, which is hard because people want to, you know, I want to focus on, you know, the content. I want to focus on this. I want to.
How did you define again the two? You said something before about the narcissistic personality disorder and the borderline. One was confrontation, so no confrontation on the borderline. And
no, you do confront. You confront borderlines. You interpret with narcissists. And the bottom line is you're supporting integration. Yeah. Now, the reason why I say this is personality disorders take a long time to heal. And so it doesn't matter how great a therapist you are. You can be a great therapist. But you got to relax, take your time, and work with someone over time to help them integrate. And people integrate great when they decide to. There's none of these things that I've been describing are things that people can't recover from, grow from, and become wonderful, integrated people, look back and go, God. There's a particular state that you enter, now that I'm talking about defenses, from the characterological defenses, and we'll take a break right after this, called an abandonment depression. James Masterson called it this in his book, Narcissistic and Borderline Personality Disorders. Abandonment depression. Something happens that hurts. Somebody does something, says something, and it really hurts. Okay? Say you're really sensitive about your body, and somebody makes a nasty comment about your body. Oh, I just hit somebody. Somebody's really sensitive about, you know, their work, and somebody makes a nasty, or you think they make a nasty comment. You get it.
Or your lover leaves.
Or your lover leaves. You get what's called an abandonment depression. You have a horrible feeling right in here, and you have horrible instincts, horrible impulses to hurt yourself or hurt other people, and you just can't stand it. Now, this is different from a regular, you know, chronic depression. An abandonment depression will last about 48 hours. And generally, if you work on it, will be resolved in a healing insight of some sort. And often when people have described instant cures in psychotherapy, what's happened is they've gone to the therapist in an abandonment depression, and through the context of the attunement, the external regulation, and the exploration, the inquiry into wherever the distress is, the healing insight has emerged, and they feel 100% better. It's gone, and they go, wow, you're a genius. Which is fine. I mean, it's always nice to have someone call you, you know, a genius, call you great. But if somebody had and we all can have these, if somebody's coming from a neurotic set of defenses and says, oh, that's fine, and you let them know, you educate them about it, and then the next time they go through it, that works. If someone's coming from a narcissistic or a borderline place, it's much more dangerous. Because the borderline person will say, you're the greatest, but the next time they feel bad, and you can't regulate them back to feeling good, then you're really bad. And they'll start looking for reasons for you to be really bad. And those distorted reasons will fill up their consciousness, and they won't be able to see the distortion. And if you say that's distorted, they think that you're abusing them. Okay, and then that's very dangerous. And that's why we have to have very, very good boundaries when we work with this population. Because, you know, you need to be able to tolerate that rage that's directed at you and go, you know, no, I'm not abusing you. It's just, you know, you're having this pain right now and I can't help you the way that I'd like. I'd love to help you self-regulate back to feeling better, but I can't. But you're not doing this. Last time you did it, and if you did this, if you broke this boundary, you know, if you just saw me outside, or if you did this, or if you did this, no, I'm not going to break any boundaries. You know, I'm not going to do that. If you just held me, if you just touched me, no, I'm not going to break that boundary. But then as they get through it, then they go, okay, well, I feel a little bit safer. And Fonagy, who does a lot of this work, you know, he has groups as well as individual work, which really helps. It's in a way that's easier than when you're working with narcissistic personality disorder, and these are rare because all of us have these. I'm just using these as an extremes. Most of what we're going to see are these other defenses, where people have those 5 characteristics, and then you help them examine them within a caring, empathetic environment, and after a while they're self-regulating back to a healthy response to the present moment, which is what therapy does.